Και αυτά εγώ κάνω όλο το ξεσκόνη σου.
Μάλιστα.
Δεν μπορεί.
Hello, guys. Hello, Harry, are you there? Harry? Hi, Nick. Good morning. One moment.
Στις νέες εξετάσεις μπαίνουν και δηλώνουν επιτηρητή, ώστε να κάνουν μεγάλο νούμερο της απόκρυψης.
Nick, I cannot hear you.
Με την ημέρα μου, πατάω το κουμπάκι αποστολή και μου κατεβάζει όλες τις εξετάσεις σε δύο διαφορετικά εξελάκια στο RoundCube, γιατί δεν μου κατεβαίνουν στο RoundCube κανονικά, διαφορετικό κομμελό που έχει.
Nick, I cannot hear you.
Στο παλιό δεν κατεβαίνω.
Σε μας παράδειγμα εδώ στις εξετάσεις, άμα δεις, όταν επιλέξεις παραδείγμα εξέταση, Δεν ξέρω τι να κάνει.
One moment to check my audio.
Μπορείς να πατήσεις εδώ πέρα, όποια θες, από εξετάσεις.
Στοιχεία τα οποία με δεν
I
ενδιαφέρουν.
do have audio. I can hear, but I cannot hear you, Nick.
Ναι, εγώ σου λέω ότι στις εξετάσεις επάνω,
Ναι.
πατάς αυτά που είναι ανοιχτά και μπορείς να δηλώσεις αυτόματα επιτηρητές για όλους μαζί.
Μα δεν θέλω να δηλώσω αυτόματα για όλους μαζί, γιατί μπορεί να είναι 10-15 διαφορετικά κέντρα. Οπότε εγώ δεν
Θα το φέρει τώρα. Μια παραβίλη για τη Ζάνση.
What about now? Can you hear me now? Yes. Okay, let me try again. Okay, can you hear me now? Yes? Okay, good. Good. That's sorted out then. Good to hear. Okay, okay. Everything okay with okay, everything okay?
Nick, I make you one moment a co-host.
Yes, yes, please
One
do.
moment. We are okay now.
Yes, okay, good.
Παρακαλώ, ναι.
Okay. Am I a co-host now?
Nick, you're okay, right?
Yes,
11 o'clock exactly. We'll start streaming on YouTube, right?
okay.
Can you see at the header of the Zoom window the recording pause and YouTube streaming buttons?
Yes, I can see that.
So when you start, the only you have to do is just press the play button for the recording. Don't touch the YouTube.
Well, where it says recording paused.
Okay. I'll do it. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Not now, in 6 minutes, right?
11 o'clock. 11 o'clock. Even if you wait 5 minutes or
Yeah.
more,
We'll start the recording.
YouTube will start streaming. Okay.
Good. Yes.
Okay. So I mute myself and have a nice morning, Nick, and good luck.
Okay. So you are going to start it though, right? The recording.
Yes.
Okay. Good. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Maria from Miraculin. Okay, good. I'm glad you can hear me. Hello, Margaret. Good morning. Yeah, sorry for this. Always one or two issues with technology. Okay, let's see. Participants, yeah. Hello, Georgia. Good to see you here. Hello, okay. Good morning, everyone. Nice to see you after the holidays. It's a good thing you cannot see me properly. So you cannot see I put on 1 or 2 kilos. I hope to lose them at some point. Okay, just joking. Okay. John, there you are. I was wondering whether you're going to show up. Good, because I intend to use you today. You're going to see how. Good morning. Hello, Alexandra. Okay. I have to say, this is one of my favorite presentations. Hello, Elpida. Hi, Vicky. Is there nobody from Crete then? Good morning, Arya. Maria is. Okay. From Miraculin, right? Yes. Good morning, Irene. Hello, Hara. Yeah, whereabouts in Greece are you, Hara? Are you in Athens or? Kavala? Oh, beautiful Kavala. Yeah. Well, I did my military service there. Actually, not Kavala, Eleftheroupoli. That's a few kilometers away. Back when I was 27, I was 3 years ago. Said I did my military service there. Okay. Right. Yes, Irene. Hello, Irene. It was a beautiful place, Eleftheroupolis. Yeah. Well, yes, beautiful indeed. Okay, yeah. Lovely place. And we had an amazing commander. The commander of our unit was an amazing fellow. And I've been trying to find him ever since. Because it's very rare to get such great guys as senior army officers. Good morning, Polixeni. Polixeni is lucky still. She lives in Castoria. Okay, guys, remember, this is supposed to be an interactive session, so I'll be asking you to do one or two things yourselves. And remember all the other things we've said. If you find these webinars interesting, please spread the word. Make sure you tell all your friends and relatives. Okay, because they are free, these events. I mean, it's a shame for people to miss the opportunity to attend such an event if they want to, that is. Yeah. Good morning, Spiritula. Yes, at this point, perhaps I should say that since I'll be asking you to participate in one or two activities, I expect you to do so in English, naturally. And we have Dora here, who, Dora, do you come from Crete? Judging by your surname.
Yes, I do. Hello, everybody.
Hello, hello. Okay.
Hello. Yes, it's not my birthplace, but
okay.
I come
All
from
right.
there. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
It's very interesting and useful. I like the topic very much.
Thank you, guys. Please remember, like I said, to tell all your friends so they can attend as well. So the next one is going to be in 15 days' time, and it's going to be about how we can use ChatGPT. You know, very simple things. How we can use ChatGPT to help our students practice writing. Yeah. Yes, Spiritula, I'm glad you think this. I thought you would say because it's a sunny day, it'd be so much better if we just go out and forget about it. Hello, Arati. Okay. Good morning, Michelle. So let me see. Okay, oh, got lots of people. I'll have to mute you, okay? And we'll be starting in about 1 or 2 minutes. Okay, let's see what the chat is. Yeah, okay, good. Good morning, Miss Peggy. Glad to see you here. Good morning, Kyriakos. Okay. Good morning, Elena. Good morning, Ive. Oh no, Maria. Okay. Okay. Hello, everyone. So we'll be starting in about 2 minutes. Hi, Krisa. Nice to see you here again. And of here. And Vicky. Vicky too. Vicky, it looks like you. Do you come from Crete? Alimonaki. That surname rings a bell. Ah, it's Chios. Okay, okay. Beautiful island, Chios. Been there a couple of times. Hello, Chrysula. Okay, let's see. 2 minutes. So I think we'll be making a start and the others can join us when they come in. Hello, Sarita. Sarita, where are you from? Are you from Greece? Said to David, we've got a friend whose surname is David. Good morning, Hara. Okay, guys. The name is Jewish. Yes, I have a friend This is a great friend of mine. His name is David. The great fellow. Good morning, Evangelia. He's one of my best friends. Okay. Good morning, Elsa and Hisula. Okay, so let's get started. The others can join us. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here once again. I'm so happy to see you after so long. I hope you enjoyed your holidays. So let's see what we'll be talking about today. I would like to start by asking you a question. Here it is. Are your students like this? Or are they like this? And of course, this is a silly question, isn't it? And the reason it's a silly question is the answer to this question. Why do you think humans have such big brains? Now, if you ask people, they will say the reason we evolved to have big brains is in order to fight off wild animals, or perhaps in order to manufacture tools. But in fact, this is not the case, because research shows that instead we develop big brains in order to make friends and keep track of enemies. All right? We develop big brains in order to better be able to get on with others, and to be able to gauge the wife's mood, right? And this is at the heart of our problem. Because as Matthew Lieberman says, he's a neuroscientist, here's what he says. Teachers are losing the education war because our students are distracted by the social world. Now, you remember those pictures at the beginning. Do you think these students were checking articles in Wikipedia or reading this? Of course not. Okay, they were looking at Instagram or Facebook, things like that. But here's the thing. It doesn't have to be like that. We can use insights from neuroscience to help our students learn better. We can use insights from this book, Social. It's an excellent book, Matthew Lieberman. And we can make use of the human propensity to socialize, the human focus on other people, to help our students learn better. Right? And this is what we'll be looking at today. Insights from neuroscience and how they can inform our teaching. We'll be looking at 5 things, these 5 things. So let's get started. The first question is, how do neuroscientists conduct research? How do they know what they know? I'll tell you. This is what they do. They invite you to the lab and they hook you up to an fMRI machine, a brain scanner, right? And they take pictures of your brain while you're carrying out some tasks, right? So they take images like this one. Now, in one of these experiments, scientists had asked the subject, come to the lab, we're in the scanner, and they gave them a task to do, okay? And they can see which parts of the brain light up. So then they told the people to, okay, have a break. And then they gave them another activity. And again, they saw which part of the brain lit up, right? And then they told them to have a break again. But they left the machine on and they noticed something interesting. Here it is. During the break, some brain areas lit up. So the scientists went, whoa, what's going on here? Why are these sites lighting up? I mean, they're not supposed to be thinking about anything. So they did it again and again. And every time during the brain, the same sites lit up. So they asked themselves, what do these sites correspond to? Because we know there are some sites in the brain that have to do with language use, some that have to do with vision, some that have to do with memory, and so on. So they did research and they discovered that these are exactly the same areas which light up when thinking about social relationships. So think about it. When they asked their subjects to think about their family or their friends or their colleagues, these areas lit up. And when they were having a break, the same areas lit up. Why is that? And the answer is that social connections are so important that we have evolved to have this as a default setting. That's why it was called the default network. So nature, when you're not doing anything else, nature wants you to be thinking about your friends, your relatives, and your colleagues. Okay? This is the model. Social relationships are hugely important. Now think about what we do in class. What we do in class is something different. We ask students to match words and to fill in gaps and to do transformation exercises, none of which helps them connect with other people. It's no wonder they get distracted by social media, right? So the moral for us here is this: any activity with a social purpose is likely to be more interesting and more beneficial to our learners. So let's see how we can do this. This is one of my favorite activities. Okay, it's called sending messages. So sometimes when I'm giving a live presentation, I tell the people there, okay, what would you do if I were to leave the room? And they say, we would talk to each other. Okay, so go ahead, talk to each other. Oh, you cannot speak. But if you want to communicate with somebody, you can give them a message. So this is, okay, so students are given small pieces of paper like this. The teacher tells them they can write messages to anybody they want in the room. Okay, you want to communicate? Fine. You can talk about anything you want, but you have to write it down. No speaking. So students deliver the messages in person. They get up and they give the message to the person they want to, right? The classmates can reply to them, and students can communicate with lots of people at the same time, right? And the teacher circulates monitoring, helping with the language. He said, if there's something you cannot write, you can ask me. You can write it in Greek, because then that means you know what words and expressions you don't know, right? So this is a fantastic activity. Notice the social element. Okay, notice this is something they normally do when they're sending messages to each other. It's just that now they have to write things down so you can look at the language and so on. And notice also they have to get up and move about, and that makes it a kind of a different activity. Now, unfortunately, we cannot do this here. But what we can do is we can do something different. Here it is. We can use Padlet. I want you to think of at least 2 people you know in this group. I'm sure there must be somebody in this group that you know. For example, I know John, yeah, and I have written a message to him. Okay, so this is what you do. You go to this Padlet. I'm going to share the link with you in a minute. Let's see if I can find it. Okay, so here. Okay, this one. Okay. So this is the Padlet. Please click on the link. Click on the link and it should take you to a Padlet. If you can do this, please say so in the chat. Just type yes if you're there. Yes? Okay, good. So it works. Good. Okay, good. So what I want you to do, well done. Okay. What I want you to do is this. Think of 1 or 2 people you know in this group and send them each a message. And the message can be about anything you want to, right? And you can reply to any messages you see sent to you. And feel free to take part in any other conversations you want to. So we'll do this for 3 or 4 minutes just for you to see what it's like. Okay, let's go to the Padlet. Okay, here it is. Here, sending messages. So what you do is you double click here, and then you say to so and so. Okay. And you type your message. Okay. Let's send one here to Vicky. Okay. Come on, guys. Let me see some messages. John, hello. Okay, now you need to say who you are. Yeah, I forgot to say to add my name here. You need to say who you are and who you are sending this to. So they can respond, right? Don't think about it. Just write a simple message. Yay. Ah. And you can comment. Okay. I'll put it here. Yeah. So okay. Okay. Xenia, okay. Thank you, John. I hope my message is up here. Yeah, not some funny. Okay, I love the one with the penguin. Come on, guys, just write one or two things. Okay. Okay. Right. Thank you, John. This person didn't write any. Okay. Okay. So okay, let me see some more messages. You cannot understand how the activity works unless you do it. You see lots of messages here. Okay. Can we have some more? So, Aspa, you haven't replied to Xenia. Maria Halkadaki, Maggie has a message for you. Well, let's not enjoy the day as yet. Just stay till the end of the webinar, then you can carry on. Okay. All right. So, right, guys, you can see how the activity works, right? Okay. So you give your students, if you're doing this online, you can send your students a Padlet link and ask them to comment. You can see what everybody. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why the comments doesn't seem to work for some reason. Yeah. Anyway. So let's go back. The idea, like I said, is for us to see how the activities work. Okay. Now we're back to the slides. Okay. So this is the first thing then. Now let's move on to something else. Social encoding. So this is something I've talked about in other presentations as well. It is not only that social is good for building relationship, for making us feel good. Apparently, according to Matthew Lieberman, social can be learning's best friend. So here's what they did. In one study, they divide subjects into two groups, right? And everyone was given a text. And the first group were told, okay, I want you to read the text, and we're going to give you a test immediately afterwards. And then they told the second group, they gave them the same text, and they told them, I want you to read the text so that you can explain the ideas to other people. But they lied to the second group, okay? Immediately afterwards, what happened was they gave everyone a test. So the second group didn't get the chance to explain the ideas to anybody. But here's the thing. The second group did better. And they did this again with the subjects hooked up to fMRI scanners. And what they found was this, that with the first group, certain parts of the brain lit up. But with the second group, it was the same sites, plus some more. Remember those sites that are responsible for social connections. And apparently, this helps us retain knowledge better. So this is the idea here. Social encoding leads to deeper learning. If you're studying something with a social purpose, with the purpose of sharing this knowledge, you learn it better. And this is Matthew Lieberman, the guy I was telling you about, to talk about this study. Okay, so let's listen to this. Okay.
Second thing I sort of want to focus on with respect to education is that when we're in the classroom itself, we tend to think of being social as kind of the enemy of learning. Okay? But it turns out that being social may be learning's best friend. Okay? So if you learn in order to teach someone else, you actually learn the material better than if you learn in order to take a test. And this is true even if you never get to teach someone else. So we know that when we actually go through the act of teaching someone else, we get to sort of consolidate the information. In the studies that have been done that I think are most interesting here, you read a passage either thinking you'll take a test or that you will teach someone else about. And either way, when you finish the passage, you get the test. And the people who have no idea the test is coming and only read it in order to teach someone else do better on the test.
So this is an amazing idea, right? So with these two groups, the second group does better. And what is the implication for us? If we do activities with the aim, where the aim is to explain things to others, like peer teaching, for example, then students are likely to learn these things better. Remember what we said at the beginning, how social media, etc., can be thought of as the enemy of learning because they're distracting. Well, here we are using the same idea, the orientation of people towards other people, to help them learn better. So here's one of my favorite activities called Guess the Words, and it's based on a game. Articulate. It's a real game. And this is what you do. Students work in pairs. One of them sits facing the screen. The other sits with his or her back to it. The teacher flashes a set of 5 words on the screen. The student who can see them has to explain or define to them for the partner to write down. So you have half the class sitting with their backs towards the screen. Our students cannot read out the words, of course, or use derivatives or gestures, or use their own one. The first one to write down all 5 words, put up the hand, and they score points, 1 point for each word, plus 5, they finish first. All right, now, we cannot do it like this, of course, but we can do it slightly differently. I want you to imagine that you are the second student. You are the student sitting with the back to the screen. So I can see the words. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain 5 words for you to guess. Okay, now, please do not write anything in the chat. If you know what the words are, write them down on a piece of paper. And afterwards, I'm going to ask you to tell me how many you managed to guess. All right. So the way I do this is in every card, all the words are related to the same topic. Yeah? So the words on the first card all have to do with education. Are you ready? Please do not write anything in the chat. Just write down the words, okay, on a piece of paper, and then you can tell me how many you got right. Let's start with my bell. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes, Maria, you're right about peer teaching. It's something we should be doing more of. Now, let me start with the words. So my first card, the words have to do with education. All right. I'm attending a 3 months PEEP on management statistics. Right. That's the missing word. I'm attending a 3 months PEEP on management statistics. Number 2. I won't be able to the webinar tomorrow because I have something to do. Yeah, I won't be able to beep the webinar tomorrow because I have some work to do. Number 3, Mary is a very beep student. She's always on time. She's hardworking, always does her homework. She asks questions if she doesn't understand something, etc., etc. Okay, so Mary is a very good student. Another word for good, right? She works hard, always does well at tests, that is, and so on and so forth. Number 4, the course I'm doing at the university is a modular course. So if you complete a particular course, you get 5 beep, something like points. And if you manage to collect 140 beep points, you get your degree. All right. The last word, number 5. So if you do well at the university, you pass all your exams, you do all your assignments, after 4 years, you get your beep, 5 words. Okay. What are the missing words? Number 1. What's the first one? Yes, very good. Number 2. Number 2. Not exactly. Yes, yeah, okay. Number 3. Number 3. Yes, excellent. Here, okay. Number 4. Number 4. Yes, credit. Well done. Credits with marks. And finally, okay. So this is the card. Now, how many did you get? Did you get 5 out of 5? 5 out of 5. Excellent, John. 4, all of them. Well done, Hara. Okay, 4 out of 5. Okay, let's do another one to get the see how you do this. The second card is much easier. All right. So in the second card, all the words have to do with traveling. So number 1 is the kind of document you need if you want to travel from one country to the next. Okay. Number 2, I arrived at the airport on time, but I had to wait for a long time because there was 3-hour beep before the plane took off. Number 3, this is a special kind of stamp that you need if you want to travel to certain countries like Russia or America. Number 4, before you board the plane, you have to go through beep to check that you're not carrying anything dangerous. And number 5, when you arrive at the airport, the first thing you have to do is to check in your suitcase and things like that. All right. Number 1, first word, the document is, okay, very good. Number 2, there was a 3-hour. Yep, well done. Number 3, the special stamps go there. Yep. Number 4, you have to go through another one. You have to go through, no, not customs, to see for them to check that you're not carrying anything dangerous. Security, that's right. And number 5, you have to check in your, very good. Okay, here it is. All right, so you get the idea. This is a fantastic activity. The students love it, and they learn the words better because they have to activate those brain areas. Okay, they have to explain to somebody else. These words have to do with restaurants, of course. These have to do with music. All right, good. Well done, Speggy. You may want to consider this buying the game. It's actually very good. It's a bit like taboo, and you don't have to avoid any words. These words have to do with health. These words have to do with exercising. It's hugely popular among my students. All right, so let's move on. Now, here's another thing. Because of the importance of social relations, right? Nature has installed a reward system inside our brain. So every time we do something pro-social, every time we do something which is for the good of other people or the community, we get a reward in our brain. And why is that? Because by doing so, this will improve our standing among our peers and other people. Okay. Yeah, good point, Alexandra. If you send me an email at the end, I'll tell you where to find it. Okay. So this is the third idea, a sense of purpose. We can use this in class to motivate students, right? Absolutely. Yeah. And there is a reason for this. Yeah. So I want you to tell you about a study that took place at a call center. This is a special kind of a call center. Imagine a university call center. So you had students who were volunteers. And what they did is there was this call center that, and they would call people from former university students, university alumni. And basically they would ask them to donate money to the university. Now you imagine being a lawyer or a doctor, you get a phone call from somebody, your former university. Yeah, okay, look, I'm busy now. Okay, you hang up. So that was a bit demotivating, right? So that was a problem. It was, they were asking people for money, and people, they just kept hanging up on them. So they kept leaving call center. But here's the thing now. Much of this money was actually spent on scholarships. So this money went towards helping people, poor people, or people from poor countries to come and study in the States and attend the university without paying. So it was in a good cause. So they thought, if we make the students aware of this, this might help them. So this is what they did. They showed these students at the call center letters and emails from scholarship recipients, right? He said, thank you so much for doing this. And because of this scholarship, I was able to study here. And they found that this boosted their motivation. So they took things a step further. And they actually asked somebody to come into the call center, a scholarship recipient. And this person came from, I don't know, from Bangladesh. And he spoke to them. He said, look, I would like to thank you so much for your work, because it's thanks to you that I managed to come to work from Bangladesh and study here. I would never have been able to afford this. And now I can go back and help my family, help my country. So this was hugely motivating. And they measured the performance afterwards. And productivity soared, because now these people, they had a reason, they had a purpose to say, look, I know I'm sorry to disturb you, but look, if you donate some money, this is going to go towards helping people study from other countries, poor people, etc. So this was, like I said, a big, big motivational boost. And this is the moral for us. A social purpose gives a huge boost in motivation. So why have students do activities that simply have to do with vocabulary and grammar, and not engage students in doing something good for other people. So what kind of things, you might ask? I'll tell you in a minute. But first, I want you to watch a little video. I don't know if you've seen that. It's on my channel. This is an advertisement, actually. So this guy goes around, goes around every day performing random acts of kindness. All right. So let's watch a part of this. And I tell my students, watch this ad and make a note of all the little things he does. That's it.
เขาจะได้อะไรถ้าเขาทำแบบนี้ทุกวัน เขาจะไม่ได้อะไรเลย ไม่ได้รวยขึ้น ไม่ได้ออกทีวี ไม่มีใครรู้จัก ไม่ได้มีชื่อเสียงที่มากขึ้น เพราะสิ่งที่เขาได้
Okay. So we're not going to watch it all. You can wipe your eyes now. Wipe the tears, yes. Okay. So random acts of kindness. Over to you now. What little things can somebody do for other people? Think about simple things. What little things could you do? For example, you might send a message to a friend that you haven't been in touch with, for 10 years or something. Say hello to a stranger. Very good. Yeah. It's a very moving act. Yeah. What other things can you do? Think about it. Yeah. The volunteering. Okay. You be more specific. You can volunteer and help at a dog shelter, perhaps. Anything else? Help a stranger. Anything else? You can write a little thank you card to somebody who has helped you. Anything else? What else? Okay, say something, pay somebody a compliment. Yeah, I'm glad you like it, Maria. Yeah. They made little cards to each other. Okay, good. Help needy people. Yeah. Listen to people when they have a problem. Offer to help people. Yeah, help a classmate. Call your mother, whom you haven't called in the past 2 months. That's another idea, perhaps. Help a classmate. Yeah. Lots of ideas there. Or perhaps instead of before going to the supermarket, right? Participant here. Okay. Yes. So before going to the supermarket, you might perhaps ask your elderly neighbor, would you like me to get you something, etc., etc. Okay. Listen to parents who lost the kids. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Lots of ideas. So here's an activity you can do. Students work in pairs or groups, and they brainstorm ideas for random acts of kindness, right? They brainstorm ideas together, then each student decides on one of them. They perform it during the day, and then they write a short text, like 2 or 3 lines, about what happened, yeah, what they did, etc., and they stick it on the notice board. And students then go around reading them and trying to guess who did what. So notice now how we use social, 3 times in this activity. So first thing is that they brainstorm ideas together. The second thing is that they do something for somebody else, for a group. And the third thing is that they post this little piece of paper there, and people try to guess and try to figure out who did what. So again, they activate these brain centers. So again, one of my favorite activities, this one. Right? So let's move on to the next thing now. Obviously, if social connection is so important, then you would expect, yeah, good point, Ms. Becky, yeah. You would expect that social exclusion would be very painful. And indeed, this is what we find. So this is actually a true story. There was this guy, and one day he went to the park with his dog. So he was sitting there under a tree, and there were 2 people there playing with a frisbee. And at some point, the frisbee landed very close to him. So he picked it up and threw it at one of the guys there. And they continued playing, but this time they also threw the frisbee at him for some time. So the 3 of them played together. But then the other 2, they stopped tossing the frisbee back to him, and they went on with their game. And the guy, he felt terrible. And he couldn't understand it, because it's not like they were his friends. And they had actually involved him in the game. They didn't need to, actually, for a few minutes. But nevertheless, when he was left out, he felt terrible. And because he was a scientist, he decided to test this. Does this happen to other people as well? So this is what they did. They went to the lab, and they designed a game called Cyberball. You can see this in this picture, right? So they would invite people in the lab, and they would sit them in front of a computer, and they would tell them, okay, look, there are 2 other people in different rooms, and they are also sitting in front of a computer, and you can see them on the left and right there, the avatars there, and the subject control that hand at the bottom of the image. So basically, what they did is they did the same thing. They threw a ball at each other, a bit like the frisbee, yeah? But in fact, these other 2 people, they didn't exist. It was a computer software. It was a program, so it was designed to stop including the subject after a while. So after a while, these 2 people, they stopped tossing the ball back at him. So after this study, they asked the person how they felt, and everybody said they felt terrible. And again, they did this while the subjects were hooked up to fMRI scans, and they discovered the same thing. The pain centers of the brain lit up. And then they wondered, would this have an effect on people's performance? So what they did is they did another study where they made people feel socially excluded somehow. And then they gave them tests. They gave them IQ tests and GRE tests. And their performance was abysmal. The scores plummeted. So this is the idea then. If people feel socially excluded, they cannot perform. Because the pain of social exclusion is so powerful, it overwhelms everything else. So there's a clear takeaway for us as teachers here. Social exclusion in class can be disastrous. So we have to make sure it doesn't happen. Instead, we have to try to foster bonds, in the classroom and make everybody feel that they belong, included. How can we do this? Well, here's one of my favorite activities. My wonderful classmates, I don't know, I may have told you about this activity before in the happiness talk. This is what you do. The teacher writes the names of all the students on slips of paper and puts them in a box, right? Students work in pairs. Okay, every student selects a name at random. So 2 students end up with 2 names, classmates of theirs. So they work together and they write a few nice things about the 2 classmates. on separate piece of paper, and then these pieces of paper are given to the people in question. So they can write things like, oh, we all love Mary because she's always smiling and she always has a kind word for everybody. Or we think Kate is great because she's very helpful and supportive if you have a problem. Or perhaps we love Peter because he always helps us cheat at tests, things like that. So the teacher collects a piece of paper and puts them up on the wall to read. So the students are doing something in English for a classmate of theirs. So that's like giving a gift, right? And you can imagine how the people feel when they read all these nice things about them. Okay, well, again, we cannot do this because we can't organize this. You don't know each other and so on. But I'm sure there is one person that almost all of you know. And I'm talking about the great Luc Prodromou. Hands up those of you who know Luc, who have heard of Luc, who have attended his talks or webinars or read articles of his. Yep. Okay. You can write. You can say so. Also on the yeah. Yes. Anybody else? I'm sure that almost all of you have heard. Of course. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yes. Okay. So Luc Prodromou is a national treasure for Greece and for Greek ELT in particular. He's the best one we have. All right. So what I have done is I have prepared a Padlet, and I'm sure you're going to give you another link in a minute, right? And what I want you to do, I want everybody to do this now. I want you to write a message about how you have benefited from Luc's talks or articles. 1 or 2 sentences. That's enough. Yeah. And I promise to forward all the messages to him afterwards. So let me give you the link. This is the link. Please click on the link and tell me if it works. Yes, it works. Please say so in the chat. Have you clicked on it? It works. Okay, good, good. All right. Good. So I want to take this activity seriously now. Okay, let me find all right. This is the other one. So this is the Padlet. Double click and write 1 or 2 sentences. Okay, you'll find some messages that I have there already. You can add pictures or whatever. I want everybody to write something. Double click and write 1 or 2 sentences. You can write more than 1 message, by the way. Come on, let me see some. Yeah. You can share your name if you want to. The more specific you can make it, the better. He stocks filled me with confidence, continue teaching with enthusiasm. Yep, great. I'm so glad I had the opportunity to attend his performance at the conference. That's the other thing. It's not just his talks, it is also his theatrical performances. For sharing your experience insights with us, such an event to teachers' lives. Yeah. Inspiring person through the positive energy, indeed. It's helped me so much, especially when I first started teaching. His books were, yeah. And thank you, Irene. Okay, I'm going to share with you this again at the end. So you can go on adding, or you can share this with, yeah, the wizard of storytelling, indeed. Yeah, I love this one. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. Like I said, I'm going to send this to, always been an inspiration to me. Yeah, Xenia. Okay. Was the first teacher trainer I heard talking about mixed ability class many years ago. He's written a book on mixed ability class, by the way. It was a great eye opener to me. Okay. My students should be grateful to him. I should have. Thank you so much. I don't know who wrote this, but it's great. You've really inspired me. You're a role model to me. Yeah. It's the way you present the topic. Yeah. It's not just the simplicity, it's the enthusiasm. For me, I found that what really makes a message impactful is whether you believe in it. And the one thing about Lucas is got faith. He really believes in what he says, right? It's simply amazing. The best one we have. Okay. And lots more messages here. Thank you, Maria. Okay. Let's give it. Feel free to keep on adding to this. I'm going to share this. And speaking of links, I'm sorry for this. Seems I've forgotten something. I have to share with you the link so you can get your certificate. So to get your certificate, for today, use this link. So, like I said, I'm going to share the link with Luke's Padlet later on, so you can add things if you want to. Thank you for all your kind comments. So let's move on to the last element for today. And the last element, of course, is yeah, okay. He's indeed, you're right, Alex. Okay. So you may wonder, the last element is humor. Have you ever wondered why we laugh? And by now, of course, you already suspect the answer. The primary function of humor and laughter is social. Think about it. How often do you laugh when you're alone? So it's not that it doesn't happen. It does happen. Yeah. So maybe you're watching a funny comedy, etc. Sometimes you laugh out loud. But you are laughing a lot more when you are with other people. So humor is something that has evolved as a bonding device. And I'd like to share with you the case with some companies are aware of this. And Southwest Airlines is one such company. So what they do is that in some of their flights, 1% or so of the flights, they have these announcements, funny safety announcements. So for example, the flight attendant will say something like, so, okay, I'd like to inform all the passengers that this is a non-smoking flight. If people really want to smoke, they can do so on their wings. And if you can light them, you can smoke them. Yeah. Or something like, in the unlikely event of a decompression of the cabin, masks like this one are going to fall from cupboards above you, blah, blah, blah. And then they said, help yourself before you help your children. If you happen to have 2 children, decide which one has a greater potential. Little things like that. So are they effective? Does humor matter? So they did a study. Remember, they do this in very few of their flights. But they found that people who were on one of those flights, they tend to take one extra flight with a company every 2 years. And they crunched the numbers and they realized that if they were to increase the percentage of flights in which they do this from 1% to 3%, this would be would gain the company something like $138 million every year. So human does matter. In another study, as they got people to watch a funny clip together, and then they involved them in economics games, right? And what they discovered was that the people who had laughed together were likely to be more generous towards each other. So we can see the effect of humor then. Basically, the moral is this: funny activity both motivate us and help us bond with each other. And as you know, I'm a great fan of humor. So one of my favorite activities is this one. It's punchline. So what you do is you tell your students a joke. The teacher finds a few appropriate jokes. She shares them one at a time with the class, but leaves out the punchline. And then at the end, so they have to listen carefully to the students, right? At the end, she shows the students a number of different punchlines, and they have to pick the right one. Okay. So I'm going to tell you a couple of jokes now, and then I'm going to show you these punchlines, and you have to tell me which one is the right one. Write a number in the chat, okay? That's it. All right, so Mrs. Brown is at home one day, and at some point there is a knock at the door. So she goes there, she opens the door, and it's a complete stranger there. So she says, "Can I help you?" And he says, "Yeah, I'm sorry to disturb you. The thing is, I walk past your house every day on my way to work, and I can't help but look through your kitchen window. And every morning, you appear to be hitting your son on the head with a loaf of bread." "Yes, that's right," says Mrs. Brown. "That's a funny thing," he says. "Every day you appear to be hitting your son on the head with a loaf of bread. But today you were hitting him on the head with a chocolate cake." "Ah," says Mrs. Brown. "What's the right punchline? Write down the number." Well done, Miss Peggy. Okay. Well, today is his birthday. Okay. Very good. Very good. Okay. Let's try another one. An Englishman, a Frenchman, and a Scotchman were sentenced to live in a deep pit for 10 years. But they were allowed one request each. So the Scotsman said, "Well, in that case, I'll have a 10-year supply of fine Scotch whiskey." And the Frenchman says, "Well, in that case, I'll have a 10-year supply of fine French wine." And the Englishman says, "Well, in that case, I'll have 10-year supply of cigarettes." So 10 years later, they're all released. So the Scotsman manages to crawl out of the pit and then promptly falls down dead because of alcohol poisoning. The Frenchman manages to come out and then he falls down dead because of alcohol poisoning. And then the Englishman comes out of the pit and says, "Excuse me," he says. "Over to you. What's the number?" That's right. Has anybody got a light? Okay. Now, you may not think these jokes are very funny, but the next two are. Okay. The next two are. So, okay. You can do it the other way as well. You can do it another way. Right. So what you do is this. You show the students the joke so they can read, but you leave out the punchline, and then you get them to listen to the joke and write down the punchline. So I've got two for you, and that's the last thing we do for today. So here's the joke. These are jokes told by a woman to other women. Here's the first one. "Men are like fine wine. They all start out like grapes, and it's our job to stomp on them and keep them in the dark until they..." Now, listen to the joke and write down the punchline.
Men are like fine wine. They all start out like grapes, and it's our job to stomp on them and keep them in the dark until they mature into something that you'd like to have dinner with.
My gosh.
Very strong.
There was a little more enthusiasm for that joke than I thought was suitable.
Yeah, they mature into something you'd like to have dinner with. Okay, that's a great one. Okay, last one. If there had been 3 wise women who went to Bethlehem, they would have asked for directions, arrived in time, helped deliver the baby, cleaned the stable, made a meal, and let's listen to it.
If there had been 3 wise women who went to Bethlehem, they would have asked for directions, arrived on time, helped deliver the baby, cleaned the stable, made a meal, and brought some practical gifts.
Okay. So what's the line? It's hilarious, isn't it? Yeah. Brought some practical gifts. Okay. Excellent. Okay, all right. So that's it. Fantastic. You can find these jokes on my channel, Comedy for ELT. Okay. Okay. All right. So let's recap then. What have we done today? Today we have looked at this element, social. We've looked at some insights from neuroscience and how they can inform our teaching. And we have looked at 5 ideas. Let's see if you remember the 5 ideas. Yeah, I'm glad you liked it. Okay. So what are the 5 ideas? Oh my God. They were so focused on the jokes, they forgot everything else. Social encoding. Yes. Anything else? 4 more. Humor was the last one. Social exclusion. Humor, the default network. Okay. Sense of purpose. Very good. Okay. I just thought I'd remind you of these things. So there are 5 elements then. The default network. Social is our default setting. Social activities are better activities. Social encoding. When we read something or study something to explain it to other people, knowledge sinks in deeper. A sense of purpose. Okay, a sense of purpose can be a huge boost to motivation. Social exclusion is something to be avoided at all costs. And finally, humor can turn strangers into friends. So remember what Matthew Lieberman said. Remember his quote at the beginning. Teachers are losing the education war because our students are distracted by the social world. It doesn't have to be like that. If we have the right knowledge, if we know how, we can turn this threat into an opportunity. Nick said that. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you very much. Thank you for everything. Thank you, guys. Okay. Thank you. I'm going to share with you the link for your certificate. Once again, thank you, guys. And remember what I said. If you like these webinars, please tell other people. Okay. And if you're taking any screenshots, please send them to me. Okay. Thank you, Georgia. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Alexandra. Thank you so much, guys. Okay. And please tell other people so we have more people next time. So the next webinar is 2 weeks from now, and it's going to be on using ChatGPT to help our students get better at writing. Okay. To get your certificate, click here. Thank you so much, Irene. Thank you. See you in 2 weeks' time. Okay. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you. Thank you, Dora. If anybody would like to have the book title or any other links, please send me a message. Yeah, of course, as always. But you can always find information on my wall. I always advertise the event, and I always share the direct Zoom link a day before. Thank you, Natasha. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much, guys. Hope to see you again in 2 weeks' time. What do you say? Who is that? Yeah. The wise women. What about the jokes? You can find them on my channel. You can send me a message, and I will share the link on my Facebook wall. I'll post a thank you for this presentation, and I will share the link in the comments. Yeah. Bye, Miss Peggy. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. If you have any screenshots, please send them to me. Thank you. See you in 2 weeks' time. Bye for now.